All right, everybody. Welcome to A Plan With Me. But before I get into this, I just want to say this is not going to be like my normal, like super in-depth plan with me. Some of it will be, but I'm still in vacation mode and I don't really want to mess with my work to-do list. That's going to be a problem for me first thing in the morning because I still want to relax today. And I really needed this last week off. We went on a cruise, which was fantastic. And then we got back Friday late afternoon and enjoyed my day yesterday. But I want to show you, I'm so excited. I finally got the Franklin Covey Compact Storage Binder, which funnily enough, when I got it, I was like, oh, it's so small. Duh, it's small. It's not the size of a normal 3-ring binder that you get for your letter-sized paper from school, but on the website in my head, I'm like, oh, this looks so huge. It's little. You wanna know why? Because it's sized for FCC inserts. So I have it set up currently with some of my archived inserts plus some extra side tab dividers. So as I add in various sections to archive as the year goes on, I can create like different sections within this. And a lot of these are old tabs that don't really have a set they fit with anymore. It's a perfect use for them. So I have in here, obviously, the first quarter of the year. So this is like January, February, March for my monthlies. All of my annual trackers and like monthly logs and habits and everything like that are just going to stay in my normal planner because there's not a good way for me to separate them out, to be quite honest. At least for now. I reserve the right to change my mind. And then I've got all my weeklies since I moved in, which I didn't use weeklies initially, but I did start using them in the month, like last week of April. And I just put these back in after doing my flip. Then I have all my dailies, which is going to be arguably the thickest section of anything I archived this year because I use a lot of day on 2-page. Then I've got my task list and my notes, which I don't know if I would keep long term, but I like having them for now, knowing that I can go back and reference something. And I just pull them out every couple of weeks because I write a lot of notes and task lists as the week goes by. So I clean these out a couple times a month. So they're all going to be in that chronological order. And then these are all just the extra dividers. There is one complete set in here. These ones from Infinite Lotus, and they're like a thick vellum, but I am just leaving them in here right now. Then this is great because what I was trying to do is I was trying to keep everything archived in my Paperbound Creations personal wide cover. Remember when I started in rings, I started in personal wide. So I have a lot of personal wide things because I knew personal was going to be too narrow. I have all my blank inserts in here. So I have all my monthlies from July through December, any blank inserts that I've printed, meeting notes, wish list inserts, trackers, blank weeklies, more blank weeklies, blank dailies, more blank dailies, notes. These were personal wide term notes that I just cut down to FCC size, and I've been using these in my notes section. Task list inserts, more trackers, more dailies. There's a million things in here. I want to maybe get another one of these. I like having them in this jelly cover versus one of my other leather covers. I don't know why, but my brain likes that, oh, your blank inserts that are ready to go are housed in a jelly cover, not a leather cover, and it's much slimmer on my bookshelf, but I'm running out of room in this, so if I want to house more inserts, I need another one, plus all of my extra other dividers and dashboards and vellums and zipper pockets and things like that currently don't have a home. I could put them in a box, but I like the idea of putting them in another ring cover. So I have like maybe another one of these as time goes on for more blank inserts, and then another specifically for like peripherals, like accessories, if you will. Because I have some inserts in here too, but they don't all fit. But for now, it's working. But I'm really glad I did that. Now, I did make some changes to this layout. I got some more tabs from Vixie's Plans, and they're this thick vellum tab, and they're pretty low profile, but because I have 2 pen loops and the side of my planner is open, I have smashed a couple of them, which honestly, at this point, that's user error more than anything. And I have some things that I would like to maybe change long-term in here, but we'll get there when we get there. I'm not in a rush. So I still have my little annual section, that's not changed, but I took out every monthly except for just April, May, June. So I'm going to put the monthlies in each quarter in here, and this is where I need to start updating a few things, because I took really the last week of May off of my peptides because I got a couple more in, and I'm starting a new peptide. One of them is called Samorelin. I was also getting ready to travel, and I was slammed this week. This is when they arrived. Didn't want to start it because one of them, the Samorelin, you inject it 5 nights a week. And then I'm increasing my glutathione dosage to 3 days a week versus 2 days a week. So I was like, whatever, I'll take a couple weeks off. I did restart them again last night, which would have been Saturday. And I did actually 3 different ones. I'm finishing up the last of my semaglutide, which I only did 10 units, which is a very small amount. I do it maybe every 7 to 10 days, if that, only because I have it and I don't want to go to waste. Like, I paid for it. I have the remaining prescription, so I'm going to utilize it. It's not expired. It's fine. It's not going to impact my appetite or anything like that. Plus, in my personal health journey, I'm still trying to get the last dregs of my insulin resistance and my elevated lipids into a range that I'm super comfortable with. There's also a lot of cardioprotective and neuroprotective benefits to using semaglutide, and I have 2 chronic illnesses, so I'm going to utilize it just enough to help finish it off, and it's not going to hurt anything. Peptides are literally amino acids, my friends. So I did my 10 units of SGT. I did NAD 20 units, which I am also going to be finishing the NAD. And then once I'm done with the NAD, going into the late summer, I'm going to switch to a different peptide, and that is only a 3-week round. And that's specifically to help with reducing my risk for Alzheimer's and dementia. So they're all neuroprotective compounds because I have higher risk of neurodegenerative disease in my family. My dad had Alzheimer's. My uncle, his brother, had Parkinson's, and their mother, my paternal grandmother, had ALS. So to say that I am trying to leverage all my resources effectively would be an understatement. And then I did do 1 milliliter of glutathione. I don't need to do any additional today of anything else. So I can actually white that little dot out. I've already started setting up for my new peptides because now that I had time to actually look at them yesterday. So the one I am starting tonight is going to be 10 units of Samorelin. And the Samorelin is a combination of 29 different amino acids to help with promoting muscle growth, lean tissue, recovery from exercise. It does help stimulate the pathway to help also improve testosterone levels because I have low testosterone. So I'm trying to improve all of that without HRT. So I'm going the peptides route for a lot of this. So let me move this out of the way. We're going to do 10 units of Samorelin. 10 units of Samorelin. And this is a 1 ml of glutathione. And that's the one that I'm increasing that I've been on already for a while. But I tolerate it well, so I'm going to increase it. And this just helps me keep track of what I'm injecting and when. And if I change something, I cross it out and then I rewrite it. But then I can see when I was supposed to take it versus when I actually took it. It's nice having a couple weeks off my peptides. I forgot what it was like to feel like a pincushion, but like the Samorelin is such a tiny injection. It's literally so little. Yesterday felt like a lot because I did 3. And the one that does feel like a lot is glutathione because I was doing 50 units twice a week previously, so half a milliliter. Now I'm doing 100 units, so full milliliter, 3 days a week. instead of 2 days a week. The only day I won't be doing any type of injection will be on Fridays. So this is going to be 10 units of Simorelin, 1 ml GLT. This is going to be 1 ml GLT, and we're going to go 10 units Simorelin. So we have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday off. Glutathione is Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday. I need to finish my NAD and my semaglutide, so I need to figure out what my cadence will be for that. Some people think it's crazy because these are injections, but it's literally not hard. I actually would prefer injections versus pills, because poking myself with an itty bitty needle is way easier than taking a whole bunch of pills. I hate taking pills, and so I try to reduce the amount of supplements that I take, which is why I take really concentrated formulations of supplements based on my lab work. Now, July I'm flying and I'm traveling, but I'll be able to travel with all my peptides. I'm not 100% sure what my travel schedule for July is yet. Peptides travel case. So I can bring my syringes and my peptides. They make these little cases that you can put ice packs in and put the vials in to carry them. So I need my vials plus my needles and then my alcohol swabs, but that's easy. That's my monthly, which I think I'm the only person maybe in the planning world that uses a monthly in this fashion of, oh, what days am I injecting myself? Let's find out. I gotta put my little tab back. Now you'll see I also got some new page markers from a shop on Etsy. And I did put in a recent order with May Paper Co. because they had their 20% off end of financial year sale. And so when that order comes in, I'll show you guys what I got, because I had some things that I've been eyeing from them and I just wasn't willing to pay full price, but a 20% off for things that I know that I will use and that I can utilize and I have a need for, you'll see. Some of them are doing more of these type of page markers because sometimes I don't want this, but I want consistency. Like I'm trying to get a lot of my rings planner tools to be consistent versus like hodgepodge together, because now that I know I use them a lot, this is my 3rd year utilizing rings. I'm like, okay, start looking for some things that you want to use. I did get some more dividers that are a little bit thicker, a little bit sturdier, because again, I started smashing these and I didn't mean to, but also maybe get rid of some of my other dividers that are mismatched and utilize these vellum ones more in my archive binder. Anyway, I digress. So there's that. And then I put all of my trackers together. So here's my vitamins and steps and sleep for the whole year in this section. My personal care habits for the whole year in this section, January, February, March, April, May, June, and I have the rest of the year also in here. And this is where I'm actually not going to pull out these sections because this is such a skinny little, like, this is not the problem. If I need to unbulk my planner, removing 4 pages from these sections together is not going to make a difference. And then I have my annual trackers in here. This is my cycle and intimacy, and then my weight, and then my workouts. And these are just printables from Peanuts Planner Co. that I printed. I actually need to update a few things in here. So where are my Randy.plans icon stickers? Because I need to add a few things. I love these. I did do a workout yesterday on the 14th. It feels so good to get back into like my normal weightlifting routine. Again, April and May were just a shit show. And then I do want to update my weight log from June. I would like to get a new smart scale that just updates to some of my stuff automatically. I still have my Fitbit smart scale from forever ago. I've had it for years. But Fitbit doesn't talk to Apple Health, which is really annoying. 6'8", 141.2. And then I was traveling this week. So this is great. Okay, perfect. So 145.9 today. I don't worry about post-travel weight gain. A lot of this was from less hydration. I had more alcohol. I had a glass of wine a couple nights, plus all food that I didn't cook myself. That was bound to happen, but I didn't feel gross. We exercised the whole time we were there. This is not problematic. Just because I was 141 before I left and I was 149 now and I'm back, there's zero issues with that. I will normalize, plus I'm going to be starting to train more, so I'm going to have a little bit more water retention, plus adding some muscle. So I would expect my weight to start to average closer to the mid to high 140s versus the mid to low 140s over the next 3-4 months, which would be ideal. This is updated. Perfect. Okay. Now, these were from Planet Char Designs. Now, she had sent me a note saying that the first round of things that she made were mispunched. So what I did was I put some clear packing tape and repunched the mispunched ones, because she sent me not only the mispunched ones, but also the corrected ones. So I basically got twice the dashboards that I requested. And again, here's another one that was mispunched, but they're beautiful and I love them. And it's just a nice pop of florals. Will I always want these? No, which is why with May Paper Co., I finally got some more of these style. This is from Plan Exto, but it's a very similar page marker where it's just the clear with the tab that I'm excited, because if I do want something less visually stimulating, then I can. But look how pretty these are with the gold foil. These are the Midnight Florals, and she does not have these on her site. I literally sent her a message. I had seen another listing she did with the Midnight Florals, and I said, I would love these, but in Franklin Covey compact size with the Midnight Florals. Can you please do a custom order for me? And she said, absolutely, I can. She sent me the listing. It was wonderful to work with her. And I actually turned on another couple of my planner friends to her shop. She has some great floral dashboards. And when I tell you, these babies they're sturdy. Do you hear that? And I did slit the sides so I can just pop them in and out. And I love that she gave me the goofed ones. Like, some people would be stingy maybe and say, oh no, you didn't pay for those. No, she just included them and messaged me the second that she realized it was an issue. I'm so sorry, I mispunched these. I'm going to recorrect them. And then I'm going to also include the mispunched ones. You can just fix the sides and repunch it if you want. Here you go. I thought that was really great of her. I loved working with her. Okay, so my weekly this week. So this was this week. We went dancing. Today is a rest day. I'm doing a much more simple weekly from this past week because we were on our cruise. And then into this coming week, I already have some things that I wrote down that I need to change. So I'm going to keep track of what my workouts are over here, just so I have a glance. I was going to hang out with my friend on Wednesday night, but I overbooked myself. And I'm like, I am not mad. It's totally fine. I totally get it. She travels a lot for work, but she's going to stop by my house on Thursday. I'm working from home on Thursday, so she's going to swing by. And Saturday, I've got my mom's birthday is Friday, so we're doing dinner on Saturday. And then I have another friend's birthday. And I'm just using a bunch of undated weeklies because some weeks I want a little bit more. Some weeks I want a little bit less. And actually, this was the first week of June. I'm missing the back cover for the first week of June because I think I took it out when I pulled everything out of my planner to archive it, which is fine. I don't need it in here. I don't usually go back to reference those. These are from Peanuts Planner Co. They're just a horizontal weekly with a little extra. So I just took my pen and extended the line across and then took my mild liner to separate out the workout for the week, because I know Tuesdays I don't work out because there's a check-in day plus a lot of calls. So I work from home on Tuesdays because I start my workday really early so I can take care of all my private clients before I start my blood work reviews and member support for Jevity. So I take care of my nutrition and fitness clients, my private clients with my business, and then I do my startup stuff. I have a bunch of calls. So I get all my client check-ins done usually in the morning on Tuesday. And so that's why I don't work out on Tuesdays. And because I literally will wake up at 5:30, 6 a.m., eat some breakfast, roll into my office, and just start the day, because otherwise it bleeds into the evening way late. And I would rather just wake up early and get it done. And a lot of times the check-ins, I'll get prepped Monday evening so that Tuesday morning I'm just ready to go. But tomorrow is going to be a little bit busy, and I don't have a ton of meetings tomorrow because I was gone for a whole week and off messages, haven't looked at Slack, haven't done anything. So I left my Monday pretty open. So tomorrow I can just get back into the mix of things. Weekly review, I need to find these inserts or print some more because I'm out. I need to do that. That's on my to-do list for today. So this is my little micro-journaling section. So I've moved my micro-journaling in here for June because I just wasn't doing it really a lot in May and April. And I always had this thing of, I don't like to journal in rings. And I just realized that, listen, you are so much more like happy and stable and calm through the day when you do your little micro-journaling once or twice a day. Get over yourself, stick some notes pages, and make a section in your rings and just do it. What's going to happen? What's the worst thing that can happen? Because I had this tucked into the back cover like this for a while, and it was just making it really heavy to carry around, even though it's little. And it works, but again, with the way my schedule is, I'm not reaching for it, and I need to just reduce the barrier to entry of engaging in this routine. So for now, this is going to just go to the side. Will it return eventually? Who knows? But then I have my actual dailies. So I utilized the day on 2 page for the first week, but then this week, because we're on the cruise, I just did these undated May Paper Co. dailies. And every morning when we went to breakfast, it was so relaxing. I would sit and I would just write in things we did the day before. Did I take my vitamins? Did we work out? Like just little things. And then Saturday, I was at home doing things and did a bunch of stuff. And then obviously this is today. And then I've got my dailies set up for this week, but I need to add a few more things. So I want to use this top section to actually write in a few things that I know I want to do that I don't want to forget, that I'm not putting in my weeklies, because my weeklies is pretty slim this week, just more of a reference at a glance than actually utilizing it for anything purposeful. Okay. And so I need to just write in and I'm not going to write it in for every single day. I'm just going to start with tomorrow and see how that goes. And then when I set up Tuesday, because I don't set up my dailies until the night before. So once I set that up, then I'll know what of this worked, but I want to utilize this top portion for these things you need to do. They're recurring, make sure you take care of them. And then this is more of like the inbox for the day, or these things, the must-dos for the day. And this is like the extra priorities. So let me actually write in what I have. I have one blood work review in the afternoon, maybe another one right before it. But it's not even a review. It's just like a supplement review call, a quick 15-minute call with one of the members. But she didn't get back to me before I left town. So I just have it pending on my calendar, but it's not finalized. That's it. So things that I do need to work on tomorrow. I need to work on these documents I need to get a code for Jevity. So if anybody is interested and wants to skip the wait list, they can. What else do I have on this sticky note? I need to call the vet. We got some bad news right before we went on vacation. My potato has mouth cancer and it has metastasized to her lungs. Now, good news is her valley fever is completely gone. But before we left, the doctor did just give us an antibiotic because she wasn't feeling too hot. And she said she does show signs of some acute infection. Let's give her an antibiotic and just see if that helps her energy levels. And so we did that and it did. She's acting more of herself, but we're just keeping an eye on her. And we don't really quite know how much time she has left, but she's still enjoying her walks. She's still eating fine. She's still cuddling. Now that she's feeling decent, like the antibiotics knocked out whatever was making her feel icky acutely, but she has a mass in her mouth that's hard. She has gotten imaging on her lungs and it has metastasized to her lungs. That did confirm. And so we just have to watch her. It might be weeks, could be a month or two, could be another 4 or 5 months. It just depends. She'll let us know when it's time. And then when it's time, we will do an in-home euthanasia for her so we can keep her at home and comfortable instead of taking her to the vet. But she is 13 years old. She's I say mostly blind. She's basically blind. She runs into things when we go places. Even sometimes around the backyard or the house, she'll bump into things. So she's adapted to the blindness for the most part, but we do have to just be careful when we take her for walks. We have to keep her in a certain area so she doesn't run into anything or doesn't walk off a curb. But when she's home, she's mostly okay. There is one pillar in the backyard that she sometimes just bumps into because she doesn't see it. But she's otherwise a pretty happy dog and she's eating well. She has energy for the most part. So we're just going to watch her. Okay, so now the next thing I need to add in here is actually new inserts. So I am, like I mentioned, going on a journey where I'm finally, after many moons, in a place where I can really start pushing my training and adding muscle. And this was coming off of a year ago, like learning, right? I was like insulin resistant and like my lipids were elevated and then my adrenals were in the tank and I did lose 30 pounds roughly and I've kept it off and I've been active still and that's all been great. But I want to add more muscle to my frame. I'm going to be 34 this year and we all know once you get past 35, 36, hormones start declining and muscle rate of adding muscle can decrease, especially with me. I have a higher training age. I've been training for a long time, so it's harder for me to put on muscle even now. So I am going to be really targeting muscle growth here in the next sort of phase. And I say 12 weeks because I'm going to track my stats 12 weeks at a time. And I think 12 weeks is a really good focus on these specific goals for this amount of time and then reevaluate, see what we need to adjust. So I made some inserts that I'm going to test out. So I do track all this stuff, but I wanted a space to track it manually. Again, I like having things at a glance. I love tracking things digitally. It's great, but I need things at a glance. So I created a body stats log so I could log my measurements. The goal would be to see the waist stay the same and my hips, quads, and biceps increase, okay? And I do right versus left to make sure that I'm not getting imbalanced. I have had some injuries in the past, so I just have to watch that. So if I see one side increasing at a faster rate than another, then I know I need to do a little bit more isolated or unilateral on one side to help balance. And then a weight log, so I can see the average each week. And I do have an annual weight log, but I will be tracking it still here because the annual is still the annual overview. This is more honed in. I don't love duplicating information. If you've been around for a while, you know that. But I want to still have a more condensed, targeted log, and then I will still use the annual like I've used for the last 2 years. This is my third year tracking these stats, and my annual is the way that I am, and I like doing it. I'm not going to change it. but I want to have the opportunity to get a more nuanced view at a snapshot of a specific time. So this is a 12-week body stats log. I did make these inserts myself using Affinity Publisher. And so I did just put on here insert thoughts. So what I did was I printed the 12-week of the body stats, and then I printed 4 weeks of this weekly specifically. So this has in it everything that I'm focusing on. My macros, which I'm going to go back to doing a macro split, which I haven't for a while. But in order to really target that muscle growth, I'm going to focus less on calories and protein and more the protein, carbs, fats ratio, as well as keep tabs on my sodium, make sure I'm doing enough, keep tabs on my fiber. I'm also going to watch my added sugars, which sounds a little bit extra, but I am still really fighting with my insulin levels and my LDL. And it's because of the Hashimoto's, which means that in order to knock down that last little bit, also really rely on my nutrition to an even higher level than I have in the past. So I am getting more granular here. Keep in mind, I've been doing this for a long time. I am a functional nutritionist. That is what I do for a living. And so doing this for me in a period of time, this is not disordered. This is the balance that I require in this moment. So balance looks different in different phases of our health journeys. For me right now, to get to a certain point, I need to get a little bit more granular so I can leverage the resources and tools like my peptides, like my training routine, all of this stuff to make sure that I'm making the most of it. Once you hit a specific goal, it's easier then to back off on some of these things and get to a more balanced standard of habits that you audit on a daily, weekly basis. But I need to get more granular for a little while. So this is what I'm doing. And so I am going to be logging and then calculating my averages for everything and giving myself a rating out of 5 stars. I thought of maybe doing 10, but 5 for now. And this is why I only printed 4 weeks of this. So the other side of this weekly is a reflection. And I kept it very simple. Barriers, successes, notes, and other. So that I can just write down thoughts throughout the week of what I've struggled with, what I feel like I've done well with, and any other random things that pop into my head. So that way, as I'm planning for the upcoming week and figuring out what am I going to prep for food, what I'm going to do with this, X, Y, Z, blah, 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 I have something to reflect on. This is very similar to what I do with my private clients in my business, where we do a weekly check-in, where we reflect, okay, they're not all doing this. I have very few clients that do things to this level, and if they do, it's for a very short period of time, like I mentioned. But we always do a weekly reflection to help drive decision-making for the next steps. And this is what this is going to do. Now, I reserve the right to make adjustments to this. Again, I don't know how this is going to work until I utilize it, but I printed off enough for 4 weeks so I can really give it a solid month. And then I'm going to keep thoughts on the inserts so that I can then make changes to the document. Okay, I might find some of this helpful. I might find some of this useless. And I might find things that I'm missing. And so that's what I want to be able to add. I need to figure out where this is going to go. So I think in the weekly section, so I have my weekly review here, and I think I'm going to put it back here and then let this be the divider into my journaling, which is just a dashboard. It's not even a divider, but I have this tab. So I don't really want to add another divider tab. I actually brought out more top tabs, but I don't think I want to, because this is my tab for my weeklies. Then I have my dashboard to take me to this week. Then I have this top tab for the weekly review. And then if I added another top tab, it would be this middle, maybe? Or should I just keep it all? Weeklies, this week, weekly review, and then I want something here. This is why I'm excited for my new May Paper Co. because this is like an old divider that I just cut and repunched, and I don't like how it's janky. This one, I think. It's not my favorite, but it'll get the job done for the moment. Okay, so this is gonna be targets for this week, notes and reflections. So actually, let me set up this week's insert with my current targets, and this is gonna be week of June 16th through 22nd. And I'm at, now this is lower macros than I would normally eat. Full disclosure. I'm trying to tighten up the target so I know exactly where to increase, because I haven't done a normal macro split. I've done protein goal and then a calorie range. So I really want to get a little bit more granular with this. This is likely going to increase across the board very quickly because this is not quite enough for me to add muscle. I'm going to need more food than that, but just for this first week, I want to just give myself a baseline, see how my body responds, and then we'll start adding food. For me, sodium, I do usually more sodium. So I do usually 2,200 to 3,000 sodium, and I'm eating for a minimum of 25 grams of fiber. I don't want to do more than 40 grams of added sugar daily, which is hard. That's really hard to do because added sugars are literally in everything. But again, I'm really fighting with my insulin levels and my LDL. My blood glucose has been great. I've actually just got done with a CGM for the last couple weeks. So my blood glucose is great, but the fact that my insulin and my LDLs are still out of range means that I just have to really focus in on my nutrition. Water, I'm going to do 120 ounces water a day, and I'm doing 10,000 steps daily. And then my priority for this week is to, sometimes it's hard to write on the rings, which is why I like slitting the sides. Priority is going to be aim for nutrition targets, and refine meals, hit all training. Because I've been slowly increasing my work capacity the last few weeks, so this is my first week doing the full scope of my new training program after 3 weeks of working up to it, which I'm really excited about. So then what I'll do is I'll come in here every few days and log the proteins, carbs, fiber, sodium for each day, added sugars. And then also sleep, steps, water, what workout I did. I take my vitamins AM and PM, which again, sleep, steps, vitamins, and movement are already logged in different areas, but that's more of the monthly and annual overview. I want to see the week at a glance and the targets for the week, because that's how I will make decisions, is a weekly basis. And then I'll keep my reflections over here. So this is my log for this. And then I'm going to do my measurements today. So this is week of June 16th. Sundays is when I do my progress photos and my measurements. So I'm going to do my measurements here, 6:15, and then I'll do next week and the week after. So I'll do the 12-week logging of everything. And then what I want to do is create a 12-week reflection of all of the things, but I got to brainstorm what that's going to look like. But I'm really excited. I struggled to create inserts in Canva, so this is why I got the Affinity Publisher. And man, when I tell you, that made a difference. So this is 6:16 through 6:22. Now, there will be days where I don't have data for every single thing, and that's okay. In that case, I just go based off of the data that I do have for the days that I have it. So like, for example, if I don't have data for Friday, or I don't have full data for Friday, I will leave it blank and only average the days that I have information for. Otherwise, I will drive myself crazy. So there's that. But If you guys have questions on how and why I've set some of these targets, why I'm tracking things the way I'm tracking them, I've actually toyed with the idea for a long time of creating custom inserts for nutrition and fitness for people based on what they need to focus on in that moment. Because so much of what I see, I feel like in the inserts community, like the health and fitness and workout tracking, is pretty lacking and it's not that great, and it's very like arbitrary and general. So I've thought about maybe offering custom insert based off whatever goal you currently have right now, whatever it is that you're focusing on. I'll send it to you, give it a test run. I'll give you one update within the first 30 days to make adjustments if needed, and then move forward. So if that's something that you would be interested in, let me know. I'm happy to set that up on a limited basis. I don't have designs at the moment to open a shop and offer all these things, but I feel like sometimes when it comes to health and nutrition tracking and like goal tracking for fitness and nutrition specifically, a lot of things are lacking. And actually one of the things that I set up for some of my clients when they graduate my private coaching program is how to track these things, track your stats, track your progress, utilizing the tools you have at hand. And I've had some planner girlies on my roster when they graduate, I show them in whatever book they're using currently how to graph and track and what stats to log and how to log it. It's fun. But if you have any questions, let me know. So that's my plan with me this week. Not my normal kind of plan with me, but hopefully it was fun to see some of the new things I have set up.